Hi, my name is Scott Barney, and I've chosen to do my paper and presentation on virtue ethics in Aristotle. As an introduction, I'd like to give a brief overview of the points I have chosen to focus on in my paper. First, we will look at a definition of virtue, and also reveal 6 dimensions of virtue ethics as taught by Robert Solomon. We will also look at how one can develop virtue in their own life and what motivates virtue in an individual. We will also look at how virtue and virtue ethics is critical to the success in business. Webster defines virtue as moral excellence, or chastity, righteousness, and effective power or force. When these are taken in consideration together, I believe they become very insightful and instructive. The definition becomes a personal quality that gives effective power to an individual to live a life of chastity, moral excellence, and righteousness. This definition implies that an individual needs to develop self-mastery and also selflessness in all that they do. When we think of virtue ethics, I believe it's instructive to look to the professor of philosophy, Robert Solomon, as he divided virtue ethics into 6 dimensions, namely community, excellence, role identity, integrity, judgment, and holism. A few of these will be manifest, I believe, in the remainder of the presentation. A key to this system of virtue ethics is understanding how one develops virtue in their own life. I believe freedom of choice is essential to understand, and that freedom is the prerequisite to action. Action is driven by our motives. Motives can be explained as our emotions or attitudes that we feel toward the rewards and penalties that are placed before us. These motives guide our lives as to what we do, who we are, and what we will become. Now, from that explanation and definition, it becomes clear that character is not simply attached to one's given nature. Character is a vow, it's a promise, and a commitment to act according to virtuous principles. These motives are definitely inspired by wholesome institutions and communities, specifically religion. Religion has the power to influence an individual to act according to virtuous principles because they know they will be accountable at some future date to a higher being or an authority. Religion helps people see the rewards, both current and in the future, that will come from being a good person and developing self-mastery. Now, I think the most important part of virtue ethics is its applicability to business. I feel that virtue is key to success in any business. One enemy that we see within a company to virtue is embeddedness. When individuals become embedded in their jobs and within their role in the company, they tend to try and lose personal responsibility to act with virtue. And they fall back on standard decision procedure within the company instead of relying on good moral judgment. This can destroy virtue ethics within a company. When we think of the criteria for success, I think the sole criteria for success within an organization is happiness. Happiness in business can be described as having a good life of rewarding and fulfilling work. And excellence within the company is being able to provide that good life, or a possibility to have that good life for everyone in society. So I think virtue ethics and virtue is critical to the success in the business world. So as an overview and conclusion, virtue ethics is a philosophy or system of decision making that allows us to control ourselves and our desires and appetites. Virtue has 6 dimensions, as described by Professor Robert Solomon, and motives are key to the development of this ethic, and is also inspired by wholesome institutions, specifically religion. And last but not least, once again, virtue ethics and virtue is critical for the success in business. This is my presentation on virtue ethics in Aristotle. Thank you very much.